Hey guys, Claudius here. We are going to get the next meta-defining unit, which is Maritime Strategist Nichol, our next CG unit. And CG Nichol is definitely going to be the best buffer you can get in the game right now. So, you definitely would want to bring a buffer in your team for two things. The first is to boost your offensive capability by buffing your attack and magic so that you can one turn kill the boss or rush through the boss HP before they can use any strong threshold attack or big attack. And the second is definitely to improve your team's survivability and defensive capabilities by boosting their defense and spirit. And pre-CG Nichol era, there are 4 top buffers that in the game. There are Soleil, Ramza, Lunera, and Roy. So each of them have their own kit that will make them the best. One could be better than the other, but not much better until Nichol comes in. So today I'm gonna talk about these buffers and how Nichol is going to reign over all of the existing buffers we have right now. First, there is Soleil, the dancer. After her enhancement, she has become one of the few 4-star base units that can stand toe-to-toe with 5-star base units. And her enhancement definitely improved her as buffers, and she can be on par with other 5-star base buffers. So after her enhancement, she has 4 dances that can increase one stats by 100% and then decrease the corresponding stats from the enemy by 35%. So if you increase defense, you will decrease the enemy's attack by 35%. If you increase your spirit, then you will decrease the enemy's magic by 35%. So this will definitely improve the survivability. And if you increase the attack with her dance, you will also decrease the enemy's defense by 35%. And same with increasing the magic of your team will decrease the enemy's spirit. So this will definitely improve either your survivability or your offensive capability, which is very great in a one-turn kill scenario if you want to. But the con or downside with her dance is that she cannot buff both defense and spirit on the first turn. You'll need 2 turns to buff both defense and spirit by 120%. And when you're fighting against boss, the boss doesn't only have physical attack, but they also have magic attack. So yeah, if you use her, you still definitely need to think of a way to survive either the physical or the magic attack, because you can only buff up the stats of one but not the other. So that's the downside. And just to show you here, by breaking the enemy's stats by 35%, either attack or magic, she will help reduce the damage taken of your team by 57.75%. And she's dancing, she's not locked to that, so you can swap her out in the Chamber of Arms. But yeah, if you're using her, you do not want to use her other abilities, even though she has useful ones such as AoE Esunaga. Yeah, you'll just stick to dancing with her, because once you stop dancing or you use other activities, you'll need 2 turns more to reapply the dance, defense, and spirit dance buff. And next we have the Bards, Enhanced Ramza and Enhanced Lunera. Both of them have the same buffing abilities that will buff the entire party stats, heal HP and MP, and then they can do that for 3 turns while singing. And when they are singing, they'll be locked out of doing other moves. So in this case, Ramza's all stats buffs are better than Lunera at 100% compared to Lunera's 90% stats buff. But Lunera has much better HP regen and MP regen compared to Ramza's HP regen and MP regen here. So for raw attack stats buff, Ramza is better. But for HP and MP heal, Lunera is definitely going to be better. Especially Lunera also has a really high spirit boost with her passive after enhancement. And then both of them, Ramza and Lunera, also have other kit that is very useful. Ramza has a single target attack break or single target magic break by 60%. But he definitely cannot use them because he's going to be singing all the time, so there is no chance of him using those breaks. And Lunera, she has a really strong chaining skills and other skills too, which she also cannot use because she's going to be singing. Once she stops buffing, she'll risk of the party getting annihilated. So these are the counts of the bards. They are gonna sing and they'll be locked out of other moves. And in the Chamber of Arms, if they sing, they cannot use they cannot be swapped out by other teammates in the Chamber of Arms while they are singing. And then we have a different type of bards than Ramza or Lunera, Roy. Roy is still a top tier buffer, especially for long fights. And he still sings too, like Ramza Lunera, but he needs to sing multiple songs in order to reach his full potential. So first he starts off by singing Hero's Prologue. It will buff up defense and spirit and gives him HP, and defense spirit is actually what is needed in order to be able to survive strong attack from the enemy. And then on turn 3 he will sing his next song, Ares Protection, which will give him attack and magic buff, and then MP regen on top of the previous defense and spirit and HP regen. So basically on turn 3, he will be giving you the same type of buff as what Ramza and Lunera give you on turn 1. So it took him 3 turns. And things will start to get interesting on turn 5 when he sings his third song. So on his third song, Ramza will be able to do an AoE full break of 40% for 2 turns to enemies here. So that's gonna take him 5 turns to do that. And on turn 7, he will be able to reach his peak potential when you unlock his final song, Victory to the Brave. It will improve his full all stats buff to 110%, which is better than Ramza's and definitely Lunera's. And at the same time, it will also improve his full all stats debuff to 45% here. He still has low HP and MP regen compared to Ramza Lunera for sure. And you can see here a 40% break is equivalent to a 64% damage reduction, and a 45% is equivalent to a 69.5% damage reduction. And I got these stats from XVS Wiki. And there's the same cons with Roy. Well, one con with Roy is for sure you need to make sure he doesn't die, because like if he dies, Roy will need to sing from the first song again, Hero's Prologue, and that's gonna take him another 3 turns to have the same type of buff or same quality of buff as Ramza and Lunera, and more turns for him to reach his full potential. And since Roy sings, you cannot swap him out in the Chamber of Arms, or swap any units out for that matter while he's singing. And here comes Maritime Strategist Nichol. So let's take a look at what makes him meta-defining compared to other buffers. So first here you can see he has an ability that will buff up 1 stats for 5 turns AoE by 110%, Iron Stance, Safeguard Stance, Demonic Stance, and Fury Stance. And these are definitely not better than the turn 1 all stats buff from Ramza, Lunera, or Roy. Well, on top of that, he has a Sharp Kick that can dispel the enemy if he needs it. He has Dual Cast, which allows him to become a secondary healer if needed, or secondary magic caster. He has this ability called Magic Restorative Stance, which will AoE recover 40 MP on demand. So right now, Enhanced Ace is the only other unit that can deal a good amount of MP with his Spirit Hand, but this is really good. And he can also buff resistance, both ice and water on the same turn by 70%, and then both light and dark resistance by 70% on the same turn 2 AoE. And he also has an ability that will buff up a single target attack, defense, magic, spirit stats by 5 turns, and this is actually the best buffs you can get right now. But it only affects one unit, so this is still not meta defining or even defeat other units. But these two are what's gonna start to make him more comparable to the other bards, Courageous Stance and Fortune Stance. So with Courageous Stance, he will increase attack and magic for 2 turns by 130%. That's a lot higher than the other bards, or even Soleil for the matter, with the highest number. But at the same time, it will reduce your defense and spirit by 65%, so that is really bad, guys. But that is curable, that is mitigable by using an all stats break resistance from Teleth or Veritas of the Earth. He has that. And this skill also gives the party MP heal for 2 turns. And then Fortune Stance will give him the other corresponding stats, which is 103% to defense and spirit boost, and 65% attack and magic debuff on your own team, which you should not do. You should put up a break resistance first before you use these 2 skills. And this skill can also heal HP, which is better than Lunera's HP and MP heal for both of these. So what you need to know about Nichol is that Nichol can dual cast all of his stance abilities. So the skill that you see here with the text stance to it, Iceberg Stance, Dual Stance, Duality Stance, Lone Stance, he can dual cast those abilities here. So you can first start off with defense and spirit boost, and at the same time use a elemental resistance, which has a stance on it, to defend even better. And then other than these skills, he also has Impregnable Stance, which is an AoE damage reduction for 3 turns by 30%. So he can combine a defense and spirit buff combined with a mitigation here. So yeah, he's more flexible in terms of defending, and what's more important is that he is not locked into just defending or just doing buff. He can do mitigation, he can do MP heal, and he can do elemental resistance at the same time. And actually this is one of the best skill too, Soulful Stance. This will buff up the entire team's attack, defense, magic, spirit by 100%. So this is similar stats as Ramza's ability or Roy's first songs, and at the same time heal a good amount of HP for 2 turns, guys. So if you do not want to risk yourself of getting debuff your defense or spirit or attack magic debuff by using Courageous Stance or Fortune Stance, he also has this skill called Soulful Stance, and it takes a lot of MP to use. But you can use both Soulful Stance on turn 1 and then MP heal on turn 2 if that's what you're gonna use. And he's gonna be much better than just all the other bards. What he's lacking is actually the break, but the Impregnable Stance here, the mitigation, will kind of make up for it. So basically, CG Nichol is the meta-defining unit because of this skill, Soulful Stance and Impregnable Stance skill, Duality Stance, Iceberg Stance, Magic Restorative Stance. So those are the skills that make him meta-defining, because he can buff, he can heal MP, and he can mitigate damage. That's quite important there. Right now there are not many units that can mitigate damage. Even if they do mitigate damage, you will most probably not bring them around. Like, you know, 9S can mitigate damage. 9S is a limited unit. He is a breaker, but his break is a combination of attack and defense instead of attack and magic. You would want to bring unit with attack and magic break instead of attack and defense break and magic and spirit break. And then there's Crow with damage mitigation too. He's a healer, but she's a healer, but Crow is not a good healer at all. You don't want to bring Crow just for his damage mitigation. So this is actually really nice for Nichol to have. The flexibility to choose, on turn 1 maybe you'd want to use this attack, defense, magic, and spirit buff, and at the same time impregnable stance. And then on the second turn, you will use Iron Stance and Safeguard Stance and AoE 110% defense and spirit buff. On the third turn, you'll use Demonic Stance and Fear Stance, so you'll get an all stats buff for another 5 turns. Yeah, basically his flexibility and his kit is really nice, and you can dual cast Magic Restorative Stance for an 80 MP heal too, guys. And of course 4 elements, for 70% buff to 4 elements: Ice, Water, Light, and Dark. Really nice. And in the current event, and the next Chamber of Arms against Tech Mine, the enemy attacks using water and light, so this is going to be really useful if you have it. CG Nichol's flexibility is what makes him into a much better buffers compared to our existing top tier buffers, and that is what is going to make him into a new meta divining unit too in the game. So when he arrives tomorrow, all other buffers will definitely yield to him and will bow before him. Anyway, thank you for watching, guys. I hope you find this video useful. Please leave a comment, like, and subscribe for more of such content. Bye bye.